What's up? You can hear my baby crying in the background. Perfect timing, little
Oh,
man. Perfect timing. So, welcome to the Sideline Podcast. The boys are back together again. I don't know if you're going to share or not where you were, but we can get into that here in a little bit. Let me just go here. So we got to fall on our sword. Sorry, let me do full intro, then we'll go for that. But welcome to the Sideline Podcast. My name is Kevin Showalter. We got TSP Booker back with us again after a little hiatus, and we love football, fantasy football, college football, all of the above. And if you didn't watch last week's episode, go ahead and check that out after this one. But also give a follow to at Crew Talk Sports, at Mr. Diesel. Thanks, fellas, for coming on. It was a lot of fun. And we'll get into it here in a little bit. But we officially launched a Campus to Canton League with the Crew Talk Sports podcast. And we're excited for that. So we have one more spot from each of our followings. And so if you'd like to play fantasy football, and you rock with us, then TL, if you're listening, respond to my DMs, my brother. He might be our fifth or our sixth member, but he does not respond to any DMs. So other than that, how are you doing, man? On the cusp of Father's Day, you having a good weekend so far?
having a good weekend. Got back from our hiatus. Or overseas doing some stuff for my wife's job as a nurse. It was pretty incredible, but we got back and our yard looks absolutely horrendous. And so
Just
we've been spending some time like trying to like beat back the weeds and do some planting and stuff. But it's all good. It's just good to be back. Jet lag has subsided a little bit, and after watching some of these other episodes that have happened while I was gone, I was really worried that I'd be coming back to like a layoff notice because you had some pretty incredible guests, and so I appreciated Crew Talk Sports, Diesel. Yeah.
right on. All right, let me see here. We're going to have to fall on our sword early for a couple things. So, first off, not as bad. Yeah, there we go. Well-oiled machine. Here we go. So, a couple of our graphics are a little cropped off. That's on me. And then our announced trivia. We could wheel and deal a trivia real quick, like here without the PowerPoint. We'll see if Booker pulls any up here, any rabbits out of the hat. But we first week back together, so we had a little. He thought I was doing trivia, and I thought he was doing trivia. So that's how it works. But so no trivia tonight. We'll just rock with that. And again, we kind of see it here on the screen, but Campus Canton League, if you'd like to play, shoot us a DM. If you follow Crew Talk Sports and I don't know, you align more with them, then shoot them a DM, reach out to either of our podcasts. And we have two more spots. We'd love for you guys to play some fantasy football with us this fall. And other than that, tonight we've got no trivia. We've got NFL OTAs. We've got some NCAA news. And NHL Game 5 is happening right now as we speak. So I've got the game on here. It looks like puck hasn't dropped yet. But what's your prediction tonight? Who do you think wins this game?
Well, I posted something on X, or I made a comment about how I thought Florida was the more talented team, the deeper team, but that the Oilers there is more gritty. It went back and forth. There's some people that agreed and others that did not. I really do think that Florida has the deeper line, but I think Edmonton's just going to take this, man. These playoffs for Edmonton. I have turned off a few games after the first period
Yeah.
because they are down and they look like trash. And then I tune back in an hour later and they've tied it up or it's going to OT. So I, I'm done. I'm done turning the game off, regardless of what the first period looks like. And I do think the Oilers are going to take it in 7 games. So I think they win tonight and then lose game 6 and then win in game 7. So what about you?
No, yeah, that was my exact thoughts. I think it was last week or the one before on just I had to apologize for not watching these games. I was just checking, the highlights and stuff afterwards, but this is must watch, man. You can't I think every game has gone to overtime so far, or at least 3 out of 4 have gone to overtime or double overtime. And so it's like it's too early probably to say the greatest Stanley Cup Finals ever, but it's certainly trending in that direction. I don't know. I think my prediction for tonight, coming off a loss, I think Florida might get them tonight. Is my thought. That doesn't mean they're going to win the series, but I wouldn't be shocked if they won tonight. And then I think it's going 7 games, just because it's been so back and forth. I don't think either of these teams is going to get eliminated until we get a game 7. And so, good news for us. But I just think the Panthers are gonna pull it out tonight, and then I could see Edmonton winning back in Florida. I think the home field advantage is a big deal, but both of these teams are so good that I have full confidence that either team could win, because again, it's probably going to overtime. It's going down to the wire, and so I mean, in overtime, it's one goal wins it, and so yeah, I'm excited for this to kick off. We're only going to be on here live till about 6:55 or so, but hopefully this puck drops soon so we can react live to the hockey game, and then we'll just have to enjoy it afterwards. So we've got no trivia. Let's move into, again, we've mentioned it, but the NFL, it's a little dry time of year. We had a couple news things this week. Let me see here. So yeah, we got Cam Akers going to the Saints. And then sort of my notes was kind of the aging running backs got signed this week. So we got Akers to the Saints, J.K. Dobbins to the Broncos. Any initial thoughts on these two guys? There's starters in both places. I guess Dobbins might have more of a shot with the Broncos. And look at us, the Crew Talk boys come on one week and we're already talking Broncos nonstop. So what they do while you were gone, man? But no, these two signings. Who do you think has the better shot of walking away with a starting role early in the season? Again, I think RJ Harvey, Alvin Kamara should be the lead backs on both of these teams. But between J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, who do you think could finish or take that job, during the season?
I think J.K. Dobbins probably has the better shot at having a larger role. There's I mean, the defense or the offensive line over there in Denver is a little bit better than the Saints offensive line. And the issue though is J.K. Dobbins has such an injury history. I think between, let's see here, I pulled it up. The guy has had ACL, LCL, meniscus, hamstring, knee flare, Achilles, MCL sprain. He's
Yeah,
just been so
brutal.
sporadic. He's had very few full seasons. Um,
Yeah,
so his long-term durability is a worry. Where I mean, Akers, he's had 2 Achilles issues. So both of them are like they have these injuries. Um, I'm probably going J.K. Dobbins, but I would be very surprised if he makes it through the entire season. What about you?
I'm gonna go Akers, and here's my reason why. I think the Saints have an old roster that's not very good. And so I could see a scenario where they're not winning games early. I don't know which year into Alvin Kamara's deal there is, but could they trade him by the deadline or something like that? So maybe not predicting an injury, but what if an Alvin Kamara gets traded? I can't remember if the Saints drafted a rookie runner. I want to say they did. There were so many good running backs this year, but I'm going to say maybe the Saints absolutely just stink this year and are going into full rebuild, cost cutting, and maybe they deal Kamara to a contender, somebody who loses their starter, and they're like, you know what, let's bring in Kamara to try and win a ring this year. So, it, again, I don't want to predict injuries. I would say with both of these guys, there's a high likelihood of re-injury, and so just because of the history, that there's something to be said that guys can overcome it, but if you've been injured your entire career, it's a physical, violent game, and they play the most physical position, or they take the most wear on their body of any position, getting tackled, guys hitting them low. So, yeah, I'll lean Cam Akers, but that's my thoughts on that. So,
I like that because I do I can see where you got that. I mean, first round, the Saints drafted Kelvin Banks out of Texas, so
yeah,
that's a huge upgrade on the offensive line. However, the Saints did also draft in the 6th round Devin Neal, running back out
oh
of
yeah,
Kansas, and so
yep,
that guy is a workhorse. I don't think he had. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure he had very many like injury issues at Kansas.
yeah.
He's a tank. So, um,
So I could see him and Cam Akers splitting carries. Again, I don't think
yeah,
they're not saying they are going to trade him, but say they trade him, maybe Cam Akers carves out a nice little Thunder and Lightning Junior for Cam Akers and Devin Neal. But any other thoughts on that before we jump into our cutoff graphics here?
no, I'm actually so excited to just show off and display these cutoff graphics. So I think we shouldn't wait anymore.
We'll wait a smidge second. Just happy to have you back, man. It is good to have you back, and yeah, that's all. We won't get too mushy here. So, all right, let's go. Let's see if we can get to the next one. There we go. Okay, so we got old guy where it's cut
Old
off. It
bird?
should say or new guy. I'm not just taking a shot at Blanda here, but we're gonna
That's
play
just
a
an old
little.
guy.
Yeah, that he is just an old guy, so this one's easy. We've got three different quarterback rooms in the NFL, and we've got an old guy, we've got a new guy, and similar to our running back question, but who do you think finishes the season as the starter on that team? It could be again injuries, trades, just straight old benching. I did hear Peyton Manning. I don't remember what podcast or I can't remember what I was listening to, but he was just talking about his record of interceptions and how it's never going to get broken because they refuse to let quarterbacks suffer that much anymore. Like if guys are bad, they just okay, let's bench him, let's not, crush his confidence. Where Peyton's like, let him out there, let him keep, slinging interceptions. But anyway, so maybe the most unbreakable record ever as a rookie, but certainly a couple starters that could do it this year. So let's go here. We got Michael Penix in Atlanta. He's the starter. They have the highest paid backup in the league. I was listening to some kind of sports talk this week, and all signs point to Kirk being a $50 million backup. He's comfortable with that. He's the smartest money guy in the NFL. Like I don't even think there's a close second. Like he's gotten paid so much money for being a middle of the road quarterback. At his peak, he's kind of reached that top 10, but just you're probably not going to win a Super Bowl with him. He's made bank. So props to Kirk. You've got an excellent business career ahead of you after the NFL if you want it. But back to our question here. So Michael Penix going to start the year as the starter in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins the backup. Who do you think finishes the season for Atlanta as the starter?
I think Penix finishes as the starter. I do think that most likely in the middle of the season, at some point, he's going to get benched and they're going to throw Kirk out there, just a little bit of a reality check. I do think Penix is the future in Atlanta, but this will be his first like full season where they're like, "Hey, we're leaning on you, and you are the future here." So I think that he's going to have some rough games, and Kirk is going to go out there and just old man strengthen his way uh, to a couple of wins to motivate Penix to get his crap together. So, what about you?
This one might be the most difficult because I think Atlanta thinks they're a contender and their division is historically weak. And so even if they start, they might pull a younger coach wanting to win right away. So I could see them, but I don't know. Part of me is like he finished the year last year. They're they're not gonna yank him quickly. But also it's like they want to win. And so if you're 2-3, 2-4, he's not playing well. You got a guy who's proven he can be a game manager and win games. This one's tricky. I want to say it's going to be Penix is going to hold this job. He looked good the last 4 weeks of the season. I mean, we've watched him play, at a game, in Seattle, and he can spin it. He can throw the ball. I think he's going to unlock this offense. I don't know if that translates to wins, but I think he's going to go out there and spin it. And Drake London to the moon, Kyle Pitts, this is your last chance. If not now, you might need to go sell insurance. But I think Penix holds the job, but this is probably our most difficult one of the three. So
There's
let's
just no
move.
way though. There's no way he's going to be in there starting the whole. When you've got a backup that you're paying that much money, like
Yeah.
you're going to at least run him out. He's like the the 1994 LeBaron. You just gotta
Yeah.
put him out there every once in a while. Let
Well, not once in a
motor
while.
run.
That's the old thing. It's like once you pull the young guy, you don't usually go back to him until the next season because it's like these teams are looking for a leader. They need one person to say, "Hey, this guy's going to carry us." And so I think if you switch to Kirk this year, again, if it's a poorly run franchise, they might go back and forth, and just enjoy their 3 wins. But I think if you make the switch to Kirk in say week 6 or 7, I think you're saying, "Hey, we're gonna let our $50 million guy go out there. We're gonna give him one more chance, and then Penix keep learning, and we'll give it another try next year." But um, we'll see. Again, I think Penix is a player. So let's move along here. This is the most hilarious quarterback room in the NFL, and I put Shador up here, but honestly, I wanted to put Joe Flacco or one of the young guns, including Kenny Pickett, and so you're not limited to just Shador Sanders. You can go the old guy, will Joe Flacco. So this one's kind of easy because you got 3 against 1. Will Joe Flacco finish the season as the Browns starter, led him to the playoffs 2 years ago? Or will it be one of the new guys? We got Shador, we got Dylan Gabriel, Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett. Who do you think finishes the year as the Browns quarterback?
If
Do they
we were
trot
not live,
Deshaun Watson out there?
I I should have. I feel like I should have proofread your slides before going live because I would have skipped this one altogether. It is it's a dumpster fire in Cleveland, but I think everyone's used to that. I
Yeah.
Flacco is probably the most like trustworthy guy in the room. Like I know that he's older. Um, did he play at Delaware? I feel like he was at the
Yeah.
University of
Yep.
Delaware.
Absolutely.
Um, back when they first opened their university, I think. But um, I don't know. It's a toss up. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Shador Sanders being the quarterback at the end of the year. And if anything, it is only so Cleveland can sell more jerseys and put butts in seats.
Yeah.
Um, it is such a confusing room. I am not. I don't even want to get too much more into it. What about you?
Well, again, short leash here. If the Browns stink, then he's going to most certainly get benched. Not because they hate him, but you got to see the young guy. So I think it's going to come out that first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. How does the team look? Are they winning games? And that to me is going to really determine it. In a crowded AFC North, I can't see the Browns, but we're going to get into it here. We actually missed. Sorry. Yeah, we'll touch on that here in a second. I missed one graphic. Wow, we're just on a roll with these graphics right now. One area I want to touch on was Cincinnati is a dumpster fire. I had a Shamar Stewart slide I wanted to have up here, but that did not make the cut. But Cincinnati's a dumpster fire, so I don't know if they're gonna. It's just hard. You hear people talking about the 49ers having off-season drama last year. That doesn't translate to the season. Like that stuff translates to the start of the season. You start the year bad. You don't just all of a sudden, you know what? We're going to just flip a switch, even if we do have Joe Burrow. And so, how far the Bengals have fallen, it's like, can you even call them a contender in the AFC North anymore? I mean, you do because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but as we saw last year, having a great offense doesn't just equal winning in the NFL, especially in the AFC North, where it's like powerhouse defense running games everywhere. Cincinnati's kind of that odd man out. So I'm gonna say the Browns finish third in the division and are fighting for a wild card. And I think Joey Flacco finishes the year because I think that they're going to want to go the true red shirt with Shador or Dylan Gabriel, and they finish. But again, I know I'm stacked against the odds here because there's 4 other options. But let me just take Joe Flacco, having them in that wild card contention, and then wanting to just truly, hey, watch him play the quarterback position no matter what. Next offseason, Gabriel, Shador, battle it out. Winner gets the job, that type of thing. So that would be a competent franchise. more than likely they have 4 starting quarterbacks this year. So, that's just how it's going to be.
I think Papa Sanders sends some threatening mail. It's kind of like the LeBron and Bronny thing where he's like,
Yeah,
"You start my son."
Oh, I thought you meant LeBron and Bronny. He's going to go strap up the old, put on the old prime cleats and get himself
I
out
think
there.
maybe we should do that instead. Yeah.
Oh man, this puck is still not dropped. It's about to. We've got the lights are flying. I'm ready. How many goals do you think are scored? This is a rabbit trail here, but how many goals do you think are scored before we sign off in about 30 minutes? How many goals do you think they put up?
3.
You think 3 goals?
I think 3 goals in the first period.
I've got a hard out at 6, but it's gonna be hard to shut her down if this game is going electric. So anyway, all right, third team here. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at the size of that helmet. There was big offseason news that his Aaron Rodgers helmet officially got outlawed, and so he's still going with the double face guard. But look at the size of that thing. There's no way that man's getting a concussion in this helmet. But we got the old guy, Aaron Rodgers, gonna start. We've got the new guy, and I'm going to limit here to is it Aaron Rodgers or Will Howard? Obviously, Mason Crosby, not Mason Crosby. Mason, is it Mason?
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. There, I'm like Mason Crosby. That's which is connected to Rodgers, but Mason Rudolph. There likely, if the Steelers are contending, it would be Mason Rudolph. But for the sake of making this a little more difficult, do you think it's Aaron Rodgers or do you think Will Howard finishes as the Steelers quarterback to end the year?
I think it's Aaron Rodgers at the end of the year, but I can't just end there. I'm sorry. I have to take a victory lap because I made a video where I said the Steelers must draft Will Howard and then sign Aaron Rodgers and let them interact with one another and then let Aaron Rodgers ride off into the sunset on his rascal scooter, handing off the baton to Will Howard. So a little bit of a victory lap there. Aaron Rodgers, I think he finishes the year with the Steelers, but because if you take him off, maybe he starts pouting. Maybe the drama starts coming up. You want him to feel like he's really, really valued and to pass on that information and institution. Well, I guess he doesn't have institutional knowledge, but just the experience to Will Howard to give him a good chance for next year. What about you?
All right, so our game has dropped. The puck has dropped, not kicked off. I want to say kicked off. Football show here. Already almost an exciting goal. Had to break away. Glove save for Bobrovsky. This one's going to be good, man. So the hockey game is going. TSP for a little bit longer, and then we will continue that. So I think it's Aaron Rodgers too, because he's going to give them the best shot to win in the playoffs. I think it's fact that he was a top 10 quarterback last year. And so you wouldn't think that because of, and that's all the stats. There could be arguments against, obviously, but if you just look at the stats, he was a top 10 producing quarterback on a dumpster fire. And so I think Aaron Rodgers is going to, with DK Metcalf, Freiermuth, Caleb Johnson, and this defense, I don't want to say contenders because you just don't. With a 41-year-old quarterback, it takes one Myles Garrett hit to end the season. And so, but yeah, I think they brought Rodgers in, and I think he's going to have a good season and be their quarterback. So, all right,
You saw what Myles Garrett said, though, right?
I don't know if I saw this one. What did he say?
He said that, and I'm paraphrasing, but they asked him, "Hey, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers being in the same like
I don't care,
division?" Man. No, he was like, "I think it's a good time to put him in the graveyard or something like that." So, yeah,
that's one take. That is one take.
It's a take.
All right, so we're gonna move into some man. I'm just hitting all of your favorite topics on your first week back. We've got Shador, we've got some Dion coming here. Just hitting up all of your favorite topics. So again, we want to talk some college football. It's kind of a dry time in the college football world. What are your thoughts on the quickly before we get into Prime and Belichick? What are your thoughts on the college football playoff? I read something where they're maybe going to meet. Sorry, almost a goal there. Where they're going to meet and maybe decide an expanded playoff. I think through this season and next, it's going to stay 12 teams, and then they might expand it to 16 there, a 5-11 format. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but what are your thoughts on that, the 5-11 format? I did see some drama that the SEC and the Big Ten are having a little bit of a pissing match on who's the big dog in college football and throwing their weight around, maybe some disagreements. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that? And then we'll talk a little college football.
Well, I would actually love to hear more so about what you think about that, because I'm actually just now reading that happened, being out of the country for a month. But it looks like, so the top four get the automatic bye, and now the fifth does not doesn't no longer gets that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So they're going straight seeds. That's happening this year. And then they're talking. I mean, not even they're going to expand. I just think it's how fast they expand, but they're going to want to sell more of these games. But yeah, starting this season, it will be home teams or home games for the top seeds. We won't have the Arizona State or did Boise host one last year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Arizona State Boise hosted to a seed that they were lower seed than who they were hosting. So again, you know, it's still a work in progress, but I think in general it's exciting. College football is awesome, and can't wait for the season to fire back up this fall. So we have one news in the college football world. We had Coach Prime, a little bit of a medical scare for the Colorado Buffaloes. Again, look at us talking all this Colorado. We have some maybe new listeners from Denver area, so we're just trying to appease the crowd here is what we're trying to do. One question I had, so the current line, and this isn't official betting talk. If you'd like that, go again, follow at Crew Talk Sports. I'm sure I'll tweet them after the show on what they think the over under is. But if you're listening, go ahead and drop us a comment on what you think here. So their over under is set at 6.5 wins this year. They went 9-4 last year. Julian Sane, and then who's the kid out of Liberty they got? Is that Salter?
Yeah, Caden Salter.
So
Julian
some
Julian Sand, you said? No, that's
Julian Sane is the Ohio State guy, right?
he's the Ohio State guy.
They got a highly touted quarterback. I'm spacing on his name right now, but they've got two quarterbacks. So they got a little bit of figuring that out. No more Shador.
Julian Lewis. Julian
Lewis, there it is. Lewis, thank you. So yeah, do you think they win over 6.5 games or under 6.5 games?
I think they win. I think they win under. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not the biggest fan. I'm seeing they start the year off with Georgia Tech. They play a Houston team that I don't think is a slouch. BYU, TCU has historically been good. I know they weren't incredible last year. Iowa State, Utah, um, West Virginia, Arizona State, Kansas State. I feel like I see some. I mean, there's going to be some close games, and without Travis Hunter, without Shador Sanders, um, I just don't see them. I know they've got some studs, and they recruited well. I just don't see them being able to have as good of a year this year as they did last year.
Yeah, I think they get the over though in like 7 wins. I don't think that they win 9, but 6.5 feels low for the Buffs. Mainly, you're in the oh almost a goal. Wow, they almost had Bobrovsky on the ground. Uh, I think winning 7 in the Big 12 is definitely doable. Um, Again, that's going to put them at what 7-6 record. Like that doesn't seem like. Again, Colorado fans are probably thinking like, "Hey, we go into the playoffs." But we'll see. I'm not haven't followed great on how much better their O line is or not, but that's really what it's going to come down to. You saw that in the college football playoffs, with the Boise States, with SMU. You had an excellent video that's coming out tomorrow on our Heisman predictions for next year, and there's a nice little one liner on there in regards to SMU. I don't want to spoil the whole video, but yeah, I think we learned in the playoffs the teams that have offensive lines and defensive lines are going to win games. Again, that's in college, that's in the NFL. It's a physical game. And so if you can win the trenches, you can. So I think that they've been recruiting linemen at Colorado a little better, but we will see. So let's move along. We've got old Bill Belichick. So same question. North Carolina's over under is set at 7.5 games in the ACC. Don't think there's any real world beaters in the ACC this year. We got probably Clemson coming back. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Louisville will be respectable with Miller Moss, but 7.5. What did I just say? 7.5. One second here. Yeah, 7.5 games. You think they win 7 or 8? Bill Belichick's first season.
I feel like maybe the thing we should do. I need to make sure that you asked Jordan Hudson if we were able to show this graphic, and even ask this question. So we need to double check about that. I'm sorry, Miss Hudson, soon to be Mrs. Belichick. Anyway, I think that they win 8.
Yeah.
Because, well, no, you know what? Gosh, because when like my joke is now changing my answer. I think they've got some studs over there, and obviously Bill Belichick is a goat. I don't know if he's the goat. Maybe he's a goat. But there's a lot of drama over there, man. Like
Yeah.
it's very distracting. I don't think he wins 8. I think they win. You said the over under was 7.5.
7.5.
I think they win 7 or fewer. Yeah, it's the under. I'll take the under on that.
And I was just confirming there. So they were 6-7 last year. So he didn't inherit a very good team. I want to say I take the under, and people are going to freak out if they win less than that. Of like, oh, he's washed. He doesn't have it. I think it takes time to build your program, to recruit the type of guys that he wants, and so it's not a failed experiment. It's not anything if they win 7 or 8 games, but I'm going to lean on the under. And they don't have a defined great quarterback that I know of. And so trying to figure that out, trying to find the players that are going to play. But man, it's hard to bet against Bill Belichick game planning against ACC off. No, I'm taking the over. Come on, man.
No.
Bill,
That's a mistake. That is a mistake.
no,
I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead. Tell me why.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why for a quick moment.
Yeah.
I heard that this man, he spent hours and hours, maybe even days, like he just would play, study the game, come up with his game plan, study. Like he had all this time. He doesn't have time anymore. He's taking Jordan to movies and going to the Olive Garden. Like he doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the time.
You're out of control. You're out of control. For those of you who couldn't tell, Booker is back running our X account. So yeah, any of the I'm sure people out there could tell that it was a little spicier this week on on some of this stuff. But, yeah, we I think once fall comes around, Bill's going to throw down the gauntlet of, hey, darling, it's time. This is my time of year, and he loves football. I think he loves football too much. Where and game planning against ACC coordinators. I mean, on the defensive side, at the very least, teams are barely going to be able to score against them, and so I think he's going to have this defense buzzing, and it's going to keep them in some games in a week conference. So I'm going to take the over. Again, I'm not saying 9 or 10 wins year one, but could they go 8-4, 8-5? I don't know how many games they play, but yeah, give me the over on that. All right, let's. So we've got Florida Edmonton update here. 2 shots on goal for each team. We are not looking good on that 3-goal prediction by the time we sign off, but yeah, their boys are flying around up in the zone. Nothing crazy yet. We will jump. Let me see here what we got next. Well, we're going to hold off on that, even though I just showed it. So I did want to mention in our ESPN hockey challenge, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and I really hope that this game goes to game 7 because I would love to do a little watch party. We've got undefeated or undefted forever. is in the lead currently with 680 points. And my apologies, I should have put this graphic back up, but that's currently the top ranked person in our TSP bracket challenge. And then we've got ESPN fan 90677894115. Those are our, oh yeah, there we go. Those are our two contenders left in the NHL side. So don't make the same. And Mr. Chad Jackson, I mean no ill will, but we can't seem to find you. And so if you're listening, if you're friends with Chad Jackson, if you're siblings with Chad Jackson, please let us know you are the official winner. Yeah, Chad Jackson 85. You are the winner in our NBA playoff bracket challenge, but we can't seem to get a hold of you. So maybe he didn't know that he was playing for something, but he can just take the pride, and we can roll over the credit, the gift card till another time. But we'd love to send you some coffee. So
And
we'll try and reach out.
luckily there's
We'll try and
only like 2.5 billion Chad Jackson in
yeah,
the United
yeah,
States.
very,
So
very unique.
that's
Well,
good news.
but even that's easier than, again, in our hockey challenge here, we've got the old ESPN fan 75,000. So it's like, okay, cool. So if you're one of our hockey finalists, shoot us a DM this week. We're gonna have game 7. I'm trying to think when game 7 would be. Let me actually pull that up. I don't think it would be on a Saturday, since we're already on game 5 now. It might be next. Yeah, so game 7 would be Friday. So maybe a special edition podcast next week on
Ooh.
Friday at 5 p.m. But if you're listening and you're one of those two teams, we'd love to have you on, a little watch party, talk some smack, see who gets the final win in that group. If not, Booker and I will enjoy the game without you.
And
So, but
if we
again,
do that watch party, so just sorry, I'm interrupting again. I'm seeing that tickets are as low as $1,850. That's the lowest for Game 7. If you go on to Ticketmaster or StubHub, jump on there, type in TSP community, and you'll have to pay full price. But type in TSP community into that line there. So
promo code. It's going to say this
promo code.
promo code does not work. I thought you were about to charge people to come to our watch party. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works, bro.
Ooh, nope,
You could pay us $1,700 to come watch the game with us. It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
not bad.
Oh man. All right. Let's finish up here in the NBA. Again, Chad Jackson, we kind of already mentioned it, but let us know if you'd like to reach out. We'd love to celebrate with you, but it's been we are unable to track you down at this moment. So anybody, internet, do your thing. Algorithm, do your thing. Put this in front of Chad Jackson 85 on ESPN. Thank you. All right, we had game 4 of the NBA Finals. We got 2-2 going back to OKC on Sunday. I'm guessing you haven't watched any of this because you're not that big of a basketball fan, but this series has been good. Again, the NHL has been goal. There we go. Sorry, NBA. We're watching the game. So what am I supposed to do here? Florida with the goal. Looks like Marchand was in on it. He's celebrating. He had at least an assist. Thinking it was Marchand the goal. We're gonna just watch this here. Oh yeah, no assist. Marchand. He's on their third line of the Panthers. That's
Oh, he's a
insanity.
stud. Yeah, he's a stud.
That's insanity. And have you heard? We'll just put the NBA on hold because why not? Have you heard of the NHL? They do this thing where I'm not saying it's real, but if you have injured guys, you can kind of finesse the salary cap. And so Kachuk was injured. And so I'm not familiar with the NHL salary cap, but pretty much the reason they could sign Marchand is because there's like a clause in the salary cap of like someone's injured, you can sign more players to fill that void. Then they all come back healthy at the playoffs. Again, I'm not saying Florida's game in the system, but it is interesting. It's an interesting dynamic where you were able to sign that good of a player, put him on your third line, and yeah, I hope Connor McDavid is able to pull out this series, but the Panthers feel like an inevitability at this point. So
This might be the
1-0.
last time they allow that
Yeah,
happen. It's kind of
yeah,
like with baseball and the LA Dodgers, like the system is the system and they're
yeah,
taking advantage of it, but it may change because of things like that.
yeah, yeah. All right, so NBA before we got interrupted by Mr. Brad Marchand. Um, Game 5 Sunday. This has been a great series. Again, I'm guessing you haven't been watching since you're not a big NBA guy, basketball guy. But if you're not, this is still an exciting. This is exciting. This isn't LeBron flopping. This isn't like ticky tack. But like these teams are playing hard. I saw. I think it was Lou Dort. And I think Halliburton flopped a little bit, but like somebody was shooting a free throw and Dort like pretty much put Halliburton on the ground, and he looks up at the ref, and the ref is just like, "I'm good, man. Like, keep playing." So again, I think there's a little gamesmanship there, but this series has been great. Buzzer beaters at the end. You don't know who's going to win the game, and that's exciting. I mean, even going back to OKC, I could easily see the Pacers winning this game, similar to this series where it's like the road team, maybe they're a little more incentivized to say, you know what, we're going to go in there and pull the upset. And I think there was a stat where it was like OKC has led for 90% of the series or more than 90% of the series, and it's 2-2. So that could tell you maybe it's going to end 4-2 and Oklahoma City's finally has woken up. But I don't think the Pacers are going anywhere. They play gritty defense. They play as a team. You don't know who's going to show up on a given night, which makes it really, really hard to defend them. So yeah, that's my thought on the NBA.
Go Pacers is what
Go
I'll say.
Pacers. You're going go
I'm
Pacers.
going Indy. That's because we got our man Tyler, who's in Indiana, but also I cannot stand SGA and Chet Holmgren. I can't stand it. Like
Yeah.
I saw this post of Chet Holmgren where someone was like, "Man, he really came up from rags to riches." But he went to this private school where it was like $30,000 a year to go to this private school and play basketball. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about rags to riches, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going Pacers.
Yeah.
Halliburton is a legend.
Yep. All right, and then we'll finish up here. Sorry, let's go back to our beginning.
Oh,
There it is.
guy.
Campus Canton fantasy football. I wanted a pregame. What are your thoughts? Are we going to go tight end premium in this league? Yay or nay? We can make an official verdict
I,
here on the pod. Talk this out.
I don't think so. I don't think so
You don't
because
think
it's not
so?
like the NFL where like you when you draft a tight end, if you want a tight end, like if you have tight end premium, then you want to spend up on a tight end, great. But everyone like if we have 10 teams, there's 10 tight ends that will play well. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say no on the tight end premium for this league because there's more than enough talent out there to draft, and you're not really having to pay up, truthfully.
Yeah. I can rock with that. And like for instance, there's a guy in our original Campus Canton league that he has like three of the top four tight ends in dynasty rankings. He's got Bowers, McBride, and Laporta or Warren. He's got Warren, and so anyway, three of those guys, and so. But he hasn't won in the NFL every season with a stacked tight end room. So I haven't noticed like there is a premium to it, but I haven't noticed where it's like, hey, the tight end position is giving you a clear win. It's funny. I just joined a dynasty league, and we had a draft today, and I was in the first round. I had to pick between Tyler Warren and RJ Harvey. It's not a tight end premium league, and I went RJ Harvey because I was like, you know what, like running backs just score more points than tight ends do. There's some of the outlier seasons. Brock Bowers obviously is an alien, so he's going to score like a wide receiver, but your like good tight end season is just not as good as a running back or a wide receiver. It's just not. I mean, again, there's some freak athletes. There's guys putting up crazy seasons. I know McBride had a good year last year, but I think McBride this year is going to come back to earth as well. Like Marvin Harrison is going to continue to eat, and I think he's going to get more targets, and McBride is going to come down a little bit to earth. And so that's my thoughts. Any other thoughts you have? We came back and we named it without you, but hopefully you like the name, the couple of beers. And any other thoughts on fantasy football? or football in general while we go a few more minutes here before we wrap up?
No, I am really excited. One of our other leagues, the draft is starting here on Monday, and I'm just excited. I know that we're still a few months out before anything really crazy happens or at the beginning, but drafting is so much fun. The strategy is so much fun, and so more to come on um, draft timings and rules and how things will be set up with a couple of beers campus to Canton League. But I'm super thankful to have Crew Talk Sports. um, Kevin getting that set up while I was gone. I think this is best case scenario for us because the point of our podcast, or one of the main values, is to have a community and to engage other people. So I think it's a really neat idea to have two leagues, one with two different podcasts. I think that's really cool. So um, moving forward, I think that's a slam dunk on your part there, Kevin. So
Thank you.
nice work, and Crew Talk Sports. Thanks for being a part of this. Looking forward to this inaugural year.
And I'm currently using my phone as a camera, so I don't know if this trade has been submitted. What are your thoughts on this? Since I don't think you didn't respond. OTL, thank you. OTL FF football or F football responded. Yeah, at this price, I'll happily roll the dice on CMC. I don't have the graphic, but I submitted this trade. I don't know if it's going to go through, but let me know your thoughts. So I've got a Dynasty League Super Flex. Again, I inherited. Usually, when you inherit an orphan, it's like someone has depleted all draft picks. The roster stinks. Like, good luck for the next couple years. This is the opposite. They had a guy walk away from the league after finishing second place. Maybe he's just was so mad that he lost that he's just like, sorry, I thought, oh, oh, dude, hockey is so awesome, man. My
Yeah,
son is like having a hard time getting into it because it's like it's hard to see the puck. It's hard to see what, but man, once you like are watching and know what you're watching, it's like, man, it's such a fun game to watch. And so when I just get distracted and go silent, something caught my eye there in the game.
Don't you just wish for your birthday someone would have taken you to a hockey game? Gosh.
That's right. That's right. For Father's Day tomorrow, I wish. Oh, there's not a game tomorrow, but anyway, where was I there? Uh, usually an orphan team is going to be absolute trash. I inherited a pretty good team that can win now. So, spoiler alert: if you saw my post on X, I am sleeper team number one. I submitted a trade for Christian McCaffrey and a 2027 second round pick is what I would get. I'm sending away Travis Etienne. Don't even know Jay Whittingham's first name. Uh,
Jordan.
Jordan Whittingham, a 2026 second, and then a 2026 third, which is actually a second third that I'm sending back to the original owner. So I'm trying to like pull on his heartstrings a little bit of like, hey, here's your pick back. Like, so who do you think wins that trade? So CMC and a 2027 second, or Travis Etienne, Jordan Whittingham. My apologies, Jordan, if you're listening. 2026 second and a 2026 third. Which
I
side do you
think
lean in?
I'm leaning on your side. If you ask me this time next year, I am leaning the other side. I really like the days are numbered for
Yeah,
CMC.
yeah,
He's had injury stuff too. When he's good, but he's just like time is coming, man. Time's
yeah,
coming for all of us. I think this is the last year for him to have like an elite year. Hopefully that's not true, but I'm leaning on you this year.
yeah. And I'm a dog with a bone with him, man. I just can't help myself, and I don't know if the trade will go through. I'm gonna try and show some restraint and not overpay. I have Josh Jacobs, Jameer Gibbs in that league, so I by no means need him. But if I can upgrade ETN on my bench to CMC, I think that's a worthy risk. I did see that ETN finished RB3 last season. Thought maybe a goal there. So a bunch of Edmonton fans raised their hands. He finished RB3 last season, but that's his only top 10 season of his career. Again, I go back and forth because I'm like, Liam Cohen is a proven, like, he can get a run game going. He did a great job with Bucky Irving in Tampa last year. Zone scheme. I think he could bring some good things to Jacksonville, but I'm not convinced on ETN, and I'm not convinced. But I know that Christian McCaffrey can finish if he's healthy. He can finish as the number one overall running back, and so that chance at a discounted rate, which I feel like I offered a little bit of a discounted rate. I looked it up earlier. I don't remember the website. We'll probably reference it in the future, but it's like a dynasty trade calculator. And actually, RJ Harvey for Christian McCaffrey straight up was like even money. But I was like, there's no way. Like, to me, I'm like, I'm not going to. And RJ Harvey's actually, I think he'll turn 25 this season. He's kind of an old guy going into the NFL. He must have had like 8 COVID years or something. But I'm going to take the guy in his mid 20s with maybe 5 good seasons over one chance that CMC could finish as the running back one, but also could play 3 games and then be out of it. So that's kind of why I added that extra second rounder in 2027 coming back to me, because I was like, there's a lot of risk in this trade. I don't know if it went through. I'll check here after the pod, but yeah, I think that's probably a good place to wrap this up. Again, our hockey game is at 1-0 right now. If you are, where is it? There we go. No, Chad Jackson. I think it was undefeated, and then I don't have the number in front of me because I switched to the NBA one. But if you're our top 2 finalists in the NHL ESPN Tournament Challenge with TSP, feel free to reach out, even if it's just one of you want to come on and celebrate a little Friday night live stream. We're all about it. Other than that, yeah, thanks for listening. We have, again, a steady flow of YouTube shorts coming out. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube. Football content coming at you on the regular there. You can follow us on X at the TSP community. Same handle on YouTube as well. And we appreciate your support and comments and engagement. Again, we don't respond or respond to every single comment, but we're trying. We're not that big where it's impossible, but sometimes, I don't know. I just don't want to respond to trolls. I'm like, but if someone has a genuine question or genuine sports thought that's just different than mine, like, I want to engage with that. If it's just your mom sucks, then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna engage with that. So
Yeah.
if you've got a genuine question and a genuine sports take, like, we're all about some good discourse. But yeah, I think that's all for this evening. Until next time, again, good to have you back at TSP Booker. Give him a follow as well, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you, everybody.